Being a third generation member of the Stringman division on both my mom and dad's sides of my family, the Mummers have been nothing short of one of the biggest influences on my life. Although I'm a Mummer myself, I never really had the opportunity to learn about this amazing Philadelphia tradition. So I took a trip down to the Mummers Museum on 2nd Street in South Philadelphia to find some more information. The Philadelphia Mummers is the oldest folk parade in the United States, with the first city-sponsored parade taking place in 1901. However, the tradition can be traced back to Europe, with some citizens of Newfoundland still practicing the tradition in its original form to this day around Christmas. Performers in the Philadelphia parade can be broken down into 5 major categories: the Comics, a satirical small performance group; the Wench Brigades, which consists of a sea of Philadelphians wearing satin dresses, umbrellas, and golden slippers; the Fancies, which consists of 1 to 3 performers wearing large elaborate suits; the Fancy Brigades, a large choreographed group of performers dancing mainly to techno music; and the String Bands, choreographed group of performers dancing and performing to live music. What you just witnessed was Finnegan New Year's Brigade 2016 satirical performance entitled Finnegan Goes for the Gold, where members of the group impersonated Bruce Jenner in Olympic attire, suddenly changing to Caitlyn Jenner to the song Dude Looks Like a Lady and I'm Coming Out, while holding signs that depict Caitlyn Jenner on the front of a Fruit Loops box. Controversies such as this are deeply rooted in the history of the Mummers Parade. Participants of the parade were even permitted to wear blackface with inspiration from minstrel shows until the City Rules Committee banned it in 1963. With the incident in 2016, along with the history of blackface in the parade, city officials established a set of rule changes. The 2 major rule changes that occurred were mandatory cultural classes for all participating members of the parade, and mandatory thorough research screenings for any ethnic or cultural performances. It is important to note that in the Mummers community, incidents like what occurred in 2016 are often carried out by individual groups or people, and are not reflected of the overall community. Leaders behind the scenes in the parade want to see the parade flourish, so I sat down with Scott Brown, one of the leaders in this movement, to discuss the history of the parade along with what he sees in the future.
Scott Brown, and I'm the Executive Director of the Philadelphia Mummers Museum and New Year's Shooters.
All right, perfect. Can you tell me a little bit about the history of the parade?
That's a great thing you asked. So it's the 2nd oldest tradition in Philadelphia, and now one of the oldest folk parades in America. Officially dated back to 1901, where it started with the city officially, but dates back to the late 1700s when the Swedish wanted to circulate the calendar for the new year and mum to disguise themselves and dress up in the original wench costume that you often see, and it broke off from there. In 1901, when it officially started, since then the parade has only stopped twice, once because of the world pandemic and once because of World War II. There are now 5 divisions of the parade. You have your comic, wench, fancy, string band, and fancy brigades. And if you'd like, I give you a little bit more of that division breakdown for you. So the original comic wench idea was to disguise, to mum. You'll see the simple outfits with the wigs, with the strutting umbrella, with the pouch sash across the chest, afforded an opportunity just to disguise somebody. That's the original comic that you see in the parade. The second part, the wenches, they broke off a little bit to keep the a little bit originality of the parade, wearing now the berets that you see, the wench outfits. Not as graphic as the comics were possibly a theme, but simply that old-fashioned mummer strut that dates back, like I said, to the late 1700s. The fancies are the floats that you see carried by men and women. They're not allowed to be on wheels, and they're disguised often with themes from the main mother float, breaking down in different costumes and levels there based on their theme for that year. The string bands are the guys and girls that you see in costume that play an instrument, 4.5-minute performance on New Year's Day. They're outside. They have a theme every year that has to change. They play instruments, string instruments and saxophones, accordions, banjos, bass fiddles, drums, and the glockenspiel, which is also known as the bell. And then the fancy brigades are the guys and girls who come inside, who do not play instruments, but they are professionally choreographed. They dance, they do their theme for 4.5 minutes, not only on Broad Street, but inside the Philadelphia Convention Center on New Year's Day. 2 shows, one at 11:30 and one at 5. And all 5 divisions make up what you have asked as the New Year's Day parade.
Perfect. Now, how is the parade different today from when it first started in 1901?
That's great. So the parade has got extremely diverse. When I took over as director in July, I made my motto very simple. It's we must fabric our past, we must sequence our present, and we must strut forward. So like anything, changes are happening. We now have groups. Just today I got an email from a young boy in high school that wants to get involved. His family was involved in the past couple years, and that diversity brings families of the Indian culture, African American families. We now have women in the parade, men. We also brought back the female impersonators, which was the diversity of things changing in time. It is what life is for the parade, is that we must add themes. One of the things that we have intertwined differently that we didn't do before in the parade is that the captains and the leaders of each organization must meet with city officials so that we're continue to be politically respectful and culturally respectful too. When you do an Asian theme, you want to make sure that that theme is respected and done in honor of that particular group. And so that is a definite different than before. There is a much greater organization and a lot more diversity in the parade today.
Change gears now and take a trip down the 2820 West Porter Street and take a look at my home club, the South Philadelphia String Band. The band was established on May 14th, 1946 in the kitchen of a small row home in Grace Ferry, Philadelphia. Since then, the band has won 7 total first prizes and has grown to become one of the biggest powerhouses in the modern parade. 2017, South Philadelphia presented the theme Awaken the Dragon, Mummer's twist on the Chinese New Year tradition. This performance has been unique due to the fact that it is the first culturally based theme since the new rule changes established following the controversies in the 2016 parade. Let's now take a look at South Philly's 2017 performance and talk to the head of the South Philly's Research Committee, Jay Nestor.
They're our 4th band of the 16 to perform. Their theme title, Awaken the Dragon. Costume designed by Russ Fama and made by Al and Yvonne Del Buono. Here we go. That is how you defend a championship.
Can you explain how the theme committee approached the 2017 theme, Awaken the Dragon, differently with the new guidelines established following the 2016 parade?
So in 2016, there was some controversy at the judging area and on the parade route because of how a non-string band division group acted and portrayed something in front of on that day. So the city instituted new guidelines on how those things around cultural appropriation and ethnic themes should be addressed. And so we had to change our approach. What we did as we were developing that theme was reach out to some local experts in the field, including the Asian American Film Festival, the director of that program, as well as a professor at the University of Pennsylvania who was a vice chair of cultural studies, and presented them what our thoughts and ideas were and asked for their feedback on how we should go about developing the theme.
In your own opinion, do you anticipate bands choosing not to pursue ethnic themes as frequently in the future?
My opinion on that is that it would probably not be the case for this organization that I'm a member of, the South Philadelphia String Band. However, I do see that other bands would steer clear of them because of the level of self-education, education of your membership, the openness that you need to have to be flexible in changing your ideas if you find that if your experts or the people that you bring in find that you need to adjust so that you are not offensive, so that you're not culturally appropriating whatever theme it is in your theme that you decide to do. I do think that it would put a pause on many organizations who don't have the resources or the bandwidth to put in the hard work early on. So the short answer is yes, I do think it will have an effect on bands selecting that type of theme, but that's unfortunate because the long answer is it just would, if bands selected that type of theme and did the homework so that it would be done in a positive and respectful way, it could have positive ramifications outside of the string band. Those individuals would learn, those individuals would be able to share information about what they went through so that they were doing something in a positive and entertaining way. And so I hope that it doesn't, but I think that it likely will.
Did you or the band receive any opposition while developing or following the 2017 parade in regards to Chinese culture?
So we did receive some pushback, but we also anticipated that that would be the case. One of the things that we are required to do if you're doing an ethnic theme is to present your theme to the Human Relations Committee at the City of Philadelphia. So they set up a meeting for you to meet with local people that may be affected or may have information that it can inform how we develop the theme. So we had a meeting at the Mummers Museum with 4 representatives of the Asian American community, one of which was from the Chinatown Civic Group. And an individual with that group had great reservations about, and to use her terminology, white men doing an Asian theme. So we took the opportunity to go through our theme with this group of individuals and a city representative, showed them all of our sketches, shared with them the costume concepts, the musical concepts, the theme concepts, and asked for their feedback. And other than the one individual who made that statement, we received positive support and positive feedback. 4 of the individuals stated clearly that they felt we were doing an honor to their culture, and that specifically was what our tact was going into it, was that we wanted to be entertaining as well as show a positive presentation of how we interpret a show around Asian culture.
In conclusion, Mummers Parade is not perfect by any means. Its history is tainted, and there's no real modern solutions that could ever fix that. What happened in history happened in history. However, today, leaders in the community, the president of the Mummers Museum, leaders of each and every clubhouse are really trying to make massive strides to improve the parade for the future. In all honesty, that goes to the public. You know, in recent years, attendance rates have been down. Historically, we're at historical low rates. The parade is shrinking in recent years, and it's hard to say if the Mummers will survive this massive social change that has occurred over the past couple of years. What I can say is that they are preparing themselves for the future. They are now doing their research, and they're prepared to grow. Thank you.